Today's video will dive into a quite weird group of people called horrorcows. While lolcows are individuals who are often exploited for laughs and internet entertainment, horrorcows are individuals who gain infamy on the internet for their shocking, controversial and often illegal actions. This video will give you a good insight into their lives and also into their most infamous moments. This video will guide you through the first 3 layers of this chart. You know how this goes. The more deeper we dive, the more extreme examples will show up. That's everything you need to know. I don't want to bother you any longer, so let's begin with this video.
You're 11. Good, now I'm away from that annoying fuck of a kid who I would have slapped in real life if they talked to me like that. I would have fucked him, slapped that shit out of that.
The story of 𝙀𝙭𝙥𝙧𝙩 is an intriguing tale about a streamer whose self-entitlement and provocations led him to be known as the King of Hate. Over the years he received constant trolling and negative backlash. He is known for numerous controversial incidents and outbursts over the years.
This is insanity! I'm done. This is over. I'm done. I'm not redoing it. I'm done. She's gonna heal him. I'm done. I'm done. It's over. It's over. Goodbye.
But besides that, Phil is best known for his live commentary videos while playing games. 𝙀𝙭𝙧𝙀 began his career in 2008 on his original channel. He started his online career with a playthrough of Fallout 3, a post-apocalyptic RPG game by 𝙀𝙭𝙧𝙀.
Thanks for doing this for me. Is this it, or has the real party started yet? That's a great answer. I'm using it.
Shut up.
But what really caught the eye of the public was his playthrough of Heavy Rain.
I guess I better get up. I got a lot to do today. Gotta call my mom. I gotta take out the trash. I'm going back to sleep. I'm tired. Alright, I'll get up.
But his popularity would also grow with the playthroughs of games such as Call of Duty and the Mass Effect games. His obsession with gaming led him that in the summer of 2010, Phil lost his normal job as a result and partnered with Machinima in the fall of 2010, thus making him a full-time YouTuber.
The fans over there to explain, I think it's gonna be good. So I'm calling upon the hate army. I rarely do this, but I need you guys definitely to help us out with this endeavor. We want the trailer to do well. We want the series to do well on Machinima, and it's gonna take your help.
His goal was clear, but his future was not so. Also, we can consider him as one of the OGs, I guess. But Phil goes way back with his gaming career, as in the 90s he developed a special love for Capcom games, especially Street Fighter. This love was so hard that he even participated in tournaments all over the country, when gaming was still a niche hobby to have and was associated with nerds. Something he is quite well known now, but was also back then, was to taunt and offend his enemies.
Where am I playing? You still haven't told me. Jesus Christ, treat you like you're...
Also, he wasn't a very good player, mostly losing with the occasional win here and there, and that's the reason why many people didn't like to play with him. But in recent times when Phil played games, he would often ignore very important gameplay mechanics, such as seen in his playthrough of Metal Gear Solid 2 and Black Mesa. In Metal Gear Solid 2 he struggled to use health rations and stealth techniques.
Should go grab these rations, you know, I don't understand how to eat. How do I eat the rations? This is just weapon changes. Oh, should we get... I don't know how to use my rations. I have no idea.
He blamed a crouch jump issue on a game bug rather than his own mistake. I mean, he made every game he played unnecessarily hard because of this. And the result was that he would die more often than he normally should, which led to rage and calling the developers not so nice names and slurs.
Punch the switch. How do you punch the fucking switch? I'm so tired of this shit. Kojima's a fucking cocksucker. Oh my god! Oh my god! I thought that I was done.
People would often make fun of him because of this, and Phil wasn't happy about this. In April of 2010, Phil playthroughs of Splinter Cell Conviction was interrupted when he received a fake copyright strike from a troll. This incident led to creation of multiple YouTube accounts, including DSP Gaming, which remains his main channel today.
do this childish shit on YouTube, if you thought it was funny to dox me, if you thought it was the DDoS attacks were funny, you almost got me killed. You. Yes, you. You're responsible. And if you are a human and you have morality in you, you should understand that. You contributed to it. Because no one thought of me in a negative light until that shit started. No one. People understood it was off-color jokes. It was just Phil trying to be funny. And, you know, I've told you, I'm an imperfect human. I'm certainly not perfect. There have been times when I made mistakes. That doesn't mean that people should fucking die. So, fuck you.
To have a fear of trolls is always good. Also, people started to making a series called "This is how you not play," insert any game name here, from Witcher to Dark Souls, and the videos were mostly about Phil. And those things would get really on his nerves.
You know, that's the real attitude to have when you're in life, when you're facing overwhelming adversity against you. Overwhelming amounts of unfair treatment, hate, slander. The best way is to just do your thing positively. Don't address it, because the more you address it, it just moves the goalpost and it just becomes worse and worse. Because that's what happened. Originally, it used to be like, oh, this is how you don't play? Fuck people. They're stealing my content. They're taking it on. You know, I would rage and do videos about it. And what would happen? It would just make it worse. It would just make it worse and worse and worse and worse. Right? So there's no reason to waste time on it anymore. That's why you don't ever hear me address it anymore. If we see a bullshit, slanderous meme on the stream, you're fucking out of here. And we just continue on with the positive content.
Phil's streams are known for his offensive language and outbursts, often blaming game developers, other players, or the game themselves for his failure, which can be considered a quite narcissistic thing to do. I mean, he is perfect, and it wasn't his fault that he wasn't good at the game. But the most popular stream was streamed on May 1st, 2016, when Phil was preparing for a live stream. Because the game he wanted to play was quite hard and things can get a bit heated up during the streams, he decided to release some pressure beforehand. Phil left his camera on and the viewers had a sight to see. He was playing with his, let's say, Xbox dongle in front of all of his audience with his head held up high. And it was even mentioned by Keemstar on Drama Alert.
Hello, welcome. Oh, the camera's out.
Soon, Photoshop memes were made with his face from that event. This moment quickly spread across the internet, becoming a widely circulated meme and bringing a significant amount of negative attention to Phil. The incident not only embarrassed Phil but also reinforced his image as a controversial figure within the streaming community. Over the years, Phil would also stream on different platforms including Blip.tv, but his career on Blip was cut short, because in 2010 he was banned for anti-Semitic remarks that he made during a Dead Space 2 playthrough.
You've let the Jews overrun space and now look at this. Their greed has had the artifact to turn everyone into necromorphs. So now I, the last remaining, must exterminate them.
He is definitely considered as a toxic guy, and many people on YouTube have become very critical of Phil. Mostly because of his action and personalities, he has been called a hypocrite, a liar, man-child, among many other names. And please be aware that you don't send any hates towards him, as this video is for educational purposes only. You know how this goes. He often created videos about all the criticism about him, which he just brushed off as jealous haters and trolls. He laughs at people's supposed immaturity when they challenge his statements. He also brands anyone who finds anything of him controversial as a drama queen. So I guess I'm a drama queen now. Ain't that a cute nickname?
Well, I don't want to hear people now saying, oh, Phil's ungrateful because he got a bunch of super chats today and he's saying that he still needs help. Fuck you. No, really, again, fuck you. Because you know what I'm asking for. Help now. To pay for the games coming up now. To pay my bills coming up now. Not things in December. Things now. You're not helping by coming on this stream and being a to me and acting like I'm being ungrateful because someone's doing a super chat. No, I'm very grateful. The super chats help, but they don't help me now.
Many have taken issues with Phil's style of commentary. Because he loves to make burps and snort sounds? Well, yes and no. Well, I think that's more about how he likes to make toilet humor jokes and being overdramatic. Plus, having sex remarks about female characters isn't helping at all. Again, I'm a bit limited here, so I can't really tell you all the things he's done or said, but Phil is so great that he actually made a compilation of his most racist outbursts, which is really generous of him. People would do everything to hide their not so proudest moments, but Phil doesn't feel any shame. Also, have you played the Telltale's Walking Dead? This highly immersive story-driven game is quite good, and do yourself a favor if you didn't play it and play it. Now, during his playthrough of The Walking Dead Season 2, while playing Clementine, who was a young child who was about to get her arm stitched, Phil thought it would be funny to make sexual noises while she screamed in pain.
Oh! 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 Ah!
Which shows you his type of humor. As a YouTuber who started in the gaming corner of the platform, I needed to point that out. But besides his vulgar, edgy style, he would also frequently delete his videos and ban users if they say something he didn't like.
You, Ninstar Rune, you can go fuck yourself and never come back. And I mean that. Don't ever ask to come back, because you're not the kind of person I want watching the stream. I can make do without Ninstar Rune being a 50-bit bitch and derailing my streams with negativity, nonsense, and stupid shit. We're all trying to have a good time on the stream, and we gotta be derailed by an idiot. Go fuck yourself, don't ever come back. Alright? That's simple.
To be honest, it's quite hard to boil down everything this guy said and did in the last 15 or 20 years he was online. But what is obvious is that Phil suffers from some type of narcissistic personality disorder, as he never admits to his mistakes and blames everyone and everything else for his own problems. Do you remember when I said he was banned from Blip for his remarks about the Jews? He immediately claimed that the report was false and that the person who reported him did it out of jealousy because of his popularity. Yeah, sure buddy, whatever I guess.
Phil is far from the only 28-year-old that has found themselves laid off from their jobs and in financial straits, but instead of sucking up his pride and taking a crappy job and moving back in with his parents, he's decided to panhandle his fan base. The relationship that DSP has with the fans is now totally based on money, and I fail to see how such a situation can end any way but badly. Save your pennies for your personal rainy days ahead and force Phil to be accountable for himself. Holy shit. This guy fucking so jealous of my popularity and the fact that for 4 or 5 months now, yeah, I've been able to turn this into a business per se and been able to support myself, that he is me falsely to websites to try to get me banned and so I have to stop doing this for a living. Wow, you are a head.
Well, almost any criticism since then was simply brushed off, saying that people are jealous. He would also often e-bag online by hiding his true intentions.
Hello everybody, it's Darkside Phil. I need that money to pay my bills, the electric bill, the internet bill, stupid bills, man. I just want to chill. I rock back and forth on the X and Y axis, tip me, so I could catch up on back taxes.
In January of 2020, Phil filed for bankruptcy to avoid paying $500,000 debt. In a nutshell, Phil generally believes that he is a good person who has never done anything wrong or hurt anyone and considers himself as a victim of unfair hate. He also thinks he was targeted without valid reasons.
Who likes to illegally restream my fucking streams and has an army of trolls who are the only reason why he has any notoriety is because he copies my shit, and he eggs his trolls on to do negative like this, to come to my stream and to basically make fun of my girlfriend and do nasty shit. It's his fault that this kind of stuff happens.
However, a closer examination reveals a different reality. He often exhibits manipulative behavior, bullying, and abusive behavior towards strangers, fans, friends, and family to gain money. He shamelessly manipulates people and will say or do anything to achieve his goals, showing little regard for those he harms in the process. At least it seems so. Perhaps Phil is a weak entry for a horror cow, But again, this is only the first entry on this layer.
I don't have money to do it. 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 It was, you know, I was.
To be doing the 100 layers of foam challenge as suggested to me by my friend Shane Dawson on Twitter.
I don't know why I subject myself to things like this. Sometimes I find quite interesting stories, and many times they are very disturbing, like the Danny Phantom case, which completely blew me away. The insight Danny gave us in his life was quite interesting, yet unsettling. And then an entry like Trish lands on my table and suddenly my mouse starts to look like a weapon I want to use against myself to relieve me of the pain by looking at her content. But that's why she's the perfect fit for this list. I mean, people on change.org petitioned to remove Trisha from the internet for good.
I don't mean this to be like racist, but okay, well, it's gonna come out racist anyways, but there's just these 6 really scary looking guys, and I think they'd be scary whether they were white or...
Again, I know many horror cows are people with more disturbing backgrounds, but again, we are just at the tip of the iceberg. And I think Trisha deserves a place here. Trisha is not only a YouTuber but also a rapper, actress, scammer, and annoying among many other things.
Yeah, we used metal straws instead of plastic straws for the turtles, but you saw that the turtles still survive, so let's stop eating animals.
Yesterday.
Oh, I think it's making me horny.
Who is Trisha? Well, if you know We Made You by Eminem, she was the chick who portrayed the obese Jessica Simpson. But besides that, she is quite a rabbit hole I wasn't prepared to get into. But here we are. Now for real, who is Trisha Paytas?
Woke up this morning feeling like a chicken nugget.
Well, hard to tell as her YouTube channel is quite interesting and I can't get the grasp of how she managed to get so much spotlight over the years. She is a person who was continually caught lying and scamming people.
Well, what if it was so bad? Hitler can't be all bad if he had this big following.
So it's really hard to keep track of who she is. But one thing we know for sure is that Trisha is famous. I think she managed to be around the right people at the right time. This is the only explanation. Well, and we can avoid talking about her personality and the aura she projects. But let's talk some more about her. Her YouTube channel consists of wide variety of content, including lifestyle-oriented vlogs, music videos, and mukbangs.
I've always just been attracted to guys, but not straight guys. I've always been attracted to gay guys. So that's why I've always thought maybe I'm a man.
And having the occasional mental breakdown on the kitchen floor while eating. Well, this type of content managed to get 5 million subscribers. With over a decade of being a public figure, you know it's hard to go through everything she did, but we can still touch upon the more bizarre outbursts.
She eats, she gets lipo, she's fat, she's gross, she's skinny, she's a bad influence, she's problematic, yada 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 yada. I have no identity.
Trisha was raised in Riverside, California with a childhood that was everything but not good. From an early age, she didn't have a father figure and her mother remarried 4 times. And I found out that she worked as a stripper when she was only 14 and eventually spiraled into prostitution, BDSM and drugs. Which is just terrible and I don't have any other words for that. At the age of 15, Trisha moved back to California and was enrolled in a Catholic online school program. She returned to Illinois to live with her mother at the age of 16 and attending the high school there. But if something was clear in her life, is that she wanted to be famous, a celebrity, a star, let's say. After moving to LA, she started to pursue an acting career. And on the side she was working as a stripper and escort just to support herself, as her then stepdad threw her out, which led that she spiraled down even harder into drugs and started to have mental problems. I mean, it's no wonder if you really think about it. Over the years, she was featured on various television shows.
Sex will give you STDs, friendships are fake, Relationships will cheat on you. Family will disown you. Pizza? That's forever.
And even attempting and failing to break the fastest stalker record on Guinness World Records Unleashed with 710 words in 55 seconds. I don't know if this is relevant to you, but I wanted to mention as the things that would come out her mouth are quite questionable. Trisha made a number of trolling videos, which she told Business Insider was a way to dumb herself down in order to get more attention and views.
A personal anecdote.
Can we just also say we don't actually need gravity? Like, we actually don't need it.
What do you mean that we don't need gravity?
What if it was never invented?
Invented by who?
Sir Isaac Newton.
Isaac Newton created gravity?
Who created gravity, babe? Dan.
What do you mean we don't need gravity? I'm curious about that
We just
statement.
don't need it.
But like, what do you mean?
The moon doesn't have gravity.
It does.
For example, this involved a video claiming that dogs do not have brains. If this was trolling is quite a mystery. In addition to regularly uploading content to her channels, Trisha has also appeared in films and television programs. As of February 22, Trisha has also published 11 books. But she's also a singer, and in November of 2017, her first single, a cover of 𝙀𝙭𝙥𝙚𝙗𝙚 Sent a Baby, which was released on December 10. This was followed by several other songs produced by Pete Mills, and the cover reached number 87 on the iTunes Holiday Music Chart, and the music video released on December 12 gained over 200,000 views on the first day. She's definitely a hustler and a player who knows how to use her audience to her advantage to succeed in other branches of the industry.
Well, what if it's so bad?
Can't be all bad if he had this big following.
I don't believe that people can be canceled. You have to go away to be canceled. But, you know, I've definitely trolled for money.
Yeah.
I definitely have said, like, whatever.
Her YouTube career started in 2007 and she is mostly known, well, hard to say, but let's say the most prominent thing is that she was involved in many dramas over the years besides the vlog and mukbang videos.
I'm the new... Who are we still friends with? Nobody?
No one.
Ask everybody.
And I don't wanna get in all the drama she caused as there are so many. And I don't feel this is the point of this video. I found out that she had a beef with Jeffree Star, David Dobrik, Charlie D'Amelio, Dixie Amelio, Jason Nash, Shane Dawson, Ethan Klein, among many others. It's completely nuts, and there isn't any point to open that can of worms. So as we established, we saw that she was like everywhere, and trust me, I skipped a great deal where she was featured. Her downward spiral is well documented on the internet. She is also very culture insensitive, but that's her thing, I guess, to be noisy and loud to attract people's attention. Like the time she wanted to convert into the Jewish religion, but somehow there was more stuff said and done to offend people than anything else. And if we consider how she praised a famous German leader of not being such a bad guy, shows how she's really just talking trash, just to offend people so they can start talk about her. Now we need to take a look at her podcast, which was made in collaboration with Ethan Klein from H3, Frenemies.
H3's a hypocrite because he said that one is tasteless. That one is not good. That's not a good take.
Well,
I've already said the N-word. Live.
let's not invite
You
anyone.
can't touch me.
It was a big deal because it outperformed Ethan's show, mostly because his show was then on a decline. The podcast was cringe to say at least. Ethan is that weird guy I'm not so fond of, and the thought of Trisha makes my dinner go up every time I hear her speak. That's my 2 cents. Just not my cup of tea.
Gay, sexual, dated gay.
Gay man.
Yeah.
And do you think what would a gay man see in you?
I've dated a gay for a year and a half.
But like, so what does he get out of dating you? Because you don't. I mean, you look like a female and you don't have a penis, so presumably.
It's just male. It's just the male energy.
It makes me think that you would want to you would want to look more like a male.
No. I like the aesthetic of a woman.
You identify as a man.
I do identify as a
Why are
man.
you dressed as a female?
It's like my character. It's my job. It's like a drag queen. Like man dressed as drag because I appreciate
You're
art and the
drag.
aesthetic.
You're a man in drag.
It's how I look at it. It's like my job, right? Like I show
But you've always looked like that.
But the public like Ethan's quite cynical style combined with Trisha's over-the-top style and reactions. And I also love how Trisha pressed Ethan to get more money on a live stream, which is just the perfect timing to make demands about your paycheck. By the way, Ethan was featured on the worst YouTubers iceberg chart if you wanna take a deeper look into his life.
We have to end it now, like really.
What did I do?
Trisha is quite a unique character, I don't know what to say else. She was numerous times caught making mockeries of gender identities and mental disorders, but also making quite offensive videos and using the N-word, so it's like the full program with her.
For the dogs, for the cats, for the cows, we milk and we milk and we milk and they say ow!
She uses lies and her over-the-top persona to gain attention and popularity, and walk on a very thin line where she tries to defend and call out bad people while doing the exact same thing to gain views. She teased people she got engaged just to relieve it was a cardboard Brad Pitt.
My boyfriend, here he is. He's a little shy, but we've been together now for 6 months.
Then she accused her boyfriend of being gay, but she's also into gay. She also identifies as a fried chicken. Why? Well, because she feels fried inside, and there is so much more here. But I don't wanna waste any more of my breath on her. She is definitely a troll and her life is a fever dream. Who managed to capitalize on every aspect she is, as she accumulated millions of dollars over the years. But the worst part I think is how she also spreads some weird and false diet tips which are quite dangerous. Because one day she eats 10 calories in a day and the next one she's fasting on water for 10 days. So she isn't only harming herself but also others. And if you have such a large following on social media, you do have to have a sense for the people who are following you. There are some people who will take everything you say for granted without questioning it. And this can result quite badly, especially if someone is maybe a kid who is still developing. Besides that, she would also promote many weird products which are quite sketchy, and she's currently earning around $800,000 a month, if I'm correct, from being an internet troll. But that's the world we live in, I guess. So let's go to the next entry.
Sprocket, I'm glad to hear you're still black. And thanks for 2 months of support, man. That's a lot of money, I guess, for a person of color, or is it not? I don't know.
Boogie is a being or entity that somehow closely resembles the Phil.
Calm down.
No!
As he shares almost the same vices as he does. Almost.
You're the fat! You're the fat! You're the fat!
What is your problem?
How do you keep calling me fat online?
How do they know you're fat?
I don't know how they know I'm fat! God damn it!
We touch upon Boogie in another chart, but I wanna expand on that entry for those who already saw that iceberg, as Boogie, much like Phil, has a very long and documented history online. He is an old school YouTuber who has gotten himself a ton of hate for his bad behavior and Marty complex.
Reddit and Twitter lost their minds. Oh, are you trying to manipulate people into giving you money?
The answer is yes. Give me some money.
He was caught in multiple lies over time, e-begging. His life is just a story about a fall of once a beloved YouTuber to someone who just wants to views and tips so he can make money. Boogie describes his childhood as a sad period in his life, due to dealing with obesity, lack of friends, and suffering verbal and physical abuse from his mother.
I am a fatally flawed broken. I am a fatally flawed broken person. You know, I'm not that different from my mom. I'm not that different from my dad. I've never molested anybody. You know, I didn't beat my kids. I chose not to have kids so I wouldn't do those things.
Boogie started his YouTube career on April 5th, 2006 and has been expanding since then for better or worse. His first video was a 49 clip titled Playing Dungeons and Dragons, which was a simple video showing Boogie playing the game with his friends. His persona felt somehow simple and relatable. Just a nerdy guy who likes D&D, cards and games. Because of that, he gained quite a fan base, but over time Boogie would have outbursts on his videos.
I think you are the lowest of the low. I think you are the worst of the worst. I think that there are fucking rapists and Nazis out there who, even though they are rapists and fucking Nazis, they are more redeemable than you, because at least they're doing something they fucking believe in. They may be pieces of garbage, they may be pieces of shit, harm other people, but at least they believe what they fucking stand for. You stand for nothing. You stand for nothing.
That's why also some people think Boogie's former wife, Des, divorced him due to ongoing behavioral issues.
It was Molly.
It's not a fucking named Molly. It's a goddamn Pokemon named 𝙀𝙘𝙚𝙚𝙧𝙗. Right over there near the campus. I want to go. Can we please go and go to the Pokemon Center? God damn it! Just get your keys.
I just got home from a 10-hour shift. What are
I
you?
don't give.
Why should I do this for you? What are you gonna do for me?
I'll buy you dinner, okay? I'll buy you dinner.
With what money?
Loan me $20 and I'll buy you dinner and I'll pay you back when my YouTube money comes in.
In response, Boogie created a video featuring his fictional persona Francis having a mental breakdown and blaming Des for his divorce. Although Boogie later claimed that the video was meant to be funny, many viewers were unsure of his intentions. After the divorce, Boogie started to use dating platform to search for a new love, and he would find Lucy Fox, which eventually also ended. Following their breakup, Fox released a video accusing Boogie of manipulation and abuse, including an incident where he verbally abused her and tried to prevent her from finding employment.
Well, if it's not for me, then nobody can have it. How about that?
Don't touch my tree. Are you kidding me? Stop it.
Which basically means that Boogie has taken Foxy captive, sort of. Due to the lack of concrete evidence, Boogie would appear on Drama Alert and said that all the allegations are fake. So take this with a grain of salt.
Ah! Jesus Christ! Look what you did!
Look what I did. Look
You're
what you
ruining
did.
watermelon! You ruined
Clean it up.
watermelon!
But this is the story of how the big nerdy giant turned into a dark and mysterious troll.
Treat myself. So yes, if you guys want to help me pay for my Tesla, please go ahead and dig deep. I sure would like a Tesla. Reach down in your pockets and give me $100,000 tonight. Curfew, I'm...
Or we can say Horror Cow. In the 2023 documentary, The Dark Sad Life of Boogie gave us quite an insight on his life, perhaps more than we ever wanted.
And I don't have any Mountain Dew!
Like, I saw some Mountain Lightning earlier.
Where did you hide the Mountain Dew?
Boogie was shown in his most natural and honest form yet. The hard-hitting news was when it was revealed that Boogie spent over $200,000 on ladies of the night. This would also include buying them dinners, luxury items, and taking them on vacations. This happened sometime between 2018 and 2021. He admitted to enjoy the company of the girls and having funny time with attractive women, especially saying he prefers LA teens over Arkansas 8.
The women I dated were pretty, sure, but they were like Arkansas 8s, not LA 10s. With sugaring, I got to fuck some LA 10s, and I think that's cool.
And this is Boogie at his finest, and I feel bad for all the people who donated money to him so he can spend his money in such a way. An anonymous worker mentioned that her time with Boogie inspired her to leave the industry, start a family, and pursue a nursing degree. Now you can only imagine of how much mental damage was Boogie able to do. These revelations led to a widespread criticism of Boogie for his sexist views on women, his extravagant spendings on sex workers, and his sense of entitlement. Especially since the girl in his documentary was nearly 30 years younger than him. The age gap was larger than the actual age of the girl.
I help with the dogs. I get him his water. Like whatever he wants and requests. I just mainly is to take care of him.
Many thought Boogie was manipulating her, which is a hard thing to state. Boogie justified his actions by claiming that his status of a YouTuber entitled him to such pleasures. And just like Alex from the previous video, when you feel entitled to do something, you just gotta do it, I guess.
Good luck in 2019. 2018 was really hard. And so am I.
But there are many more things we can touch upon, as he didn't fall from grace just from one incident. Because he's currently unhappy and broke, he's currently living from paycheck to paycheck and from the ad revenue just to survive another month. And he did make a lot of money, but he used it to invest in crypto, where he lost $750,000 plus the hobbies of car collecting, games, and so on.
My health insurance is $800. I have $500 worth of medical bills. I have $500 worth of utilities. I pay for doctor's visits, physical therapies, labs constantly. I still have to pay for the car that I drive. I still have to pay for car insurance. I still have to pay for health insurance. Diablo 4 came out. I had to buy it. Final Fantasy 16 came out. I had to buy it. Tears of the Kingdom came out. I had to buy it. That's $400.
As I mentioned, 𝙀𝙘𝙚 in 2019 started to invest in Bitcoin based on advice from his friend 𝙀𝙭𝙦𝙧𝙩. Although 𝙀𝙘𝙚 later acknowledged it was a poor investment, he expressed confidence that he would still have the sufficient funds even if he retired from YouTube. However, on October 5th, 2022, 𝙀𝙘𝙚 released a video explaining that he lost most of his money due to the cryptocurrency investments and YouTube demonetizations.
I took the advice, but I put my money in the crypto market in the wrong section, and I pretty much lost most of everything. That sucks. That really sucks.
He urged his fans to support him by subscribing, liking, commenting, donating money, using the super chat, or buying his merchandise. This video was heavily criticized by the fans and other YouTubers who saw 𝙀𝙗𝙚's pleas for financial support as begging and was even compared to 𝙀𝙭𝙥𝙧𝙀.
You're kidding!
Judge.
Despite all of this, he once again jumped on a train by promoting a crypto thing, which is considered by some as a scam. It feels like he wants to monetize his fans as much as possible. 𝙀𝙗𝙚 is quite desperate for any attention. The worst part is that he didn't even pay the loan to buy his $250,000 house, which is just ridiculous considering he lost $750,000 in crypto and $200,000 on girls. Where are your priorities, man? But fake girls are more important than a roof over his head. But to top it all off, he loves very dark humor, which is quite questionable, and loves to use racial slurs as those are just words.
I think as long as he stops tweeting the N-word, he'll be fine.
The N-word is just a word.
And he made a few public statements that left a mark on his reputation.
You can't teach physics to a dog. And if you're someone stupid enough to think I would ever verbally assault somebody...
Sadly, he isn't only not so nice to other people, but also not to himself. If we go back on August 1, 2017, 𝙀𝙗𝙚 received a gastric bypass surgery to help with his morbid obesity. The result was that in February of 2019, 𝙀𝙗𝙚 managed to drop from 500 pounds to 347. According to 𝙀𝙗𝙚, this is the lowest he weighed since 1992 when he graduated from high school at 380 pounds.
Meat curtains. There's a second one. I have 2 glorious meat curtains. I don't like showing it to people, and people don't like seeing it. So that's why I'm going to die.
Also, he mentioned he replaced all of his teeth because 17 of 19 were infected due to poor maintenance. And there are many more things wrong with his health. And I wanna end this with a certain case that happened sometime in summer of 2020. A YouTuber named Frank Hassel was terminated. Why? Well, he would harass people publicly, 𝙀𝙗𝙚 included. On Twitter, he claimed that 𝙀𝙗𝙚 was the one that got his account terminated. For the next few months, there was a fight between them. Eventually, Frank would go to 𝙀𝙗𝙚's house and started threatening him to hurt him and even coming to his house. On September 28, 2020, Frank eventually came to 𝙀𝙗𝙚's house and 𝙀𝙗𝙚 threatened him with a gun and told him to leave. After not listening, 𝙀𝙗𝙚 fired a warning shot at Frank. He left soon after. It's me being European now, but I'm not used to people just pulling up guns.
There's more footage than that. I can't show it to you because of YouTube's terms and services, but I have handed that footage over to the police, and now it's up to the police to decide what happens next. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for firing a warning shot. I don't know if Frank is going to get in trouble. I don't know how this is going to play out.
But I know that's a bit different in the US. The most recent news we have is that Boogie apparently lied about having a cancer, and that's Boogie, I guess. So let's move to the last entry of this layer. Nicholas Perry, aka 𝙄𝙘𝙚𝙚𝙧𝙗, began his journey on YouTube as a skinny vegan violinist, and now he's almost a mancubus because all of the machinery he needs to stay alive.
Nope, because that's for low IQ peasants. You look like someone who would play League of Legends. You look like a Genshin Impact enjoyer. Have you ever played that? No.
𝙄𝙘𝙚's stories followed, I would say, with self-harm, abuse and a dose of drama sprinkled with extra cringe.
I'm finna whip this hoe.
It's a guy you probably saw somewhere on the internet, even if it was just for the memes. Prior to YouTube, 𝙄𝙘𝙚 worked as a freelancer violinist in New York. At the age of 21, he had dreams of playing the Broadway pit orchestra. The problem was that it was a very tough and a saturated market to make any success. Sadly, his dreams remained only dreams.
I look like a blueberry. I look like a blueberry.
𝙄𝙗𝙚 created his first and main YouTube channel on May 27, 2014, and it was a step that changed his life.
There's your video.
His earliest videos involved him eating a very healthy and vegan diet until he had saw how much money is there to make with mukbang videos.
Your boss.
Mukbang YouTubers are individuals who would consume an unholy amount of food in one sitting, sometimes just commenting on the food and sometimes talking about other topics.
In common, we're very beautiful, but the difference between, well, he's basically
skinnier, more attractive, richer, more popular. I mean, where do you want to start? The only thing you have in common with him is maybe that you're human. And I highly doubt that you're human because I think you identify as a hippo.
Get away! Get away! Get away!
So 𝙄𝙗𝙚 would throw out the avocados he had lying around his house and would stockpile fast food like he's going out of style. He would produce mukbang videos on a frequent basis, which in the end resulted that he would reach his final form. This has prompted concern from a part of his community as well as the YouTube community in general, with many saying that he is eating himself to death and that he needs to receive some help. Because of this, he has many health issues, which isn't any wonder. But according to Nick, it's just water weight, so don't worry.
If it wasn't water weight, could I do this?
One thing also we need to mention about Nick is that he has poor hygiene, because he doesn't like to brush his teeth or take a shower. In a deleted video, he recorded waking up and surprising Orlin to then sing potatoes, chicken and sandwich while there was a leak in his bed. He said it's a common thing that people do who eat spicy food challenges. He's also releasing videos on a daily basis, so you can only guess how many times this happened until this point.
Just stop.
Now every normal person will probably stop with the spicy foods and the mukbangs, but again the green river of money would probably dry out, and that's a big problem. But the problem was also that Nick would not only himself but also the others around him. So would you believe me that 𝙄𝙗𝙚 had a few controversies over the years? And a lot of people despise him for his unnecessary disgusting videos where Nick and his ex-husband abuse each other physically and verbally. Besides all the attention he received, he still isn't satisfied and loves to start a drama here and there. For example, 𝙄𝙘𝙚𝙗𝙚𝙧𝙩 faced allegations of harassment and invasion of privacy from a mukbanger, Stephanie So. Following their collaboration as Spicy Noodle Challenge, she claimed to feel unsafe during the collaboration and accused 𝙄𝙗𝙚 of sending harassment texts and taking photos inside her home. These allegations led to a public dispute between them, with both parties producing videos and evidence to support their claims. This controversy sparked significant response from his viewers. Because of this, he lost 10,000 subscribers in one single day, and his video began receiving a higher ratio of dislikes to likes. Many people think he has some mental problems because of this, but I let you to be the judge because I'm definitely not qualified to judge somebody like this. Also, something that is quite completely wrong on so many levels is how 𝙄𝙗𝙚 would use his status as a disabled person to his advantage. How? Well, by uploading multiple videos with offensive thumbnails and titles such as "My new diet as a disabled person" and profiting off an image of disability, which is just wrong, I think.
It's different, okay? I'm actually a person strategizing what I do.
Basically, you messed up. You let 5 people die.
Chris Shuey is a very odd entry to start this layer, but that's a good thing. Online he is known as 𝙀𝙭𝙚𝙗𝙚𝙧𝙗 and he is a YouTube personality. The thing he is famous for is for his extreme eating and drinking stunts. He was born in Albany, New York on May 30, 1969. A odd thing is that he is actually a military veteran. It's not an odd thing that he served his country, but it's odd the path he chose, at least regarding to his health. Because trying to eat everything you find in your house isn't the smartest thing to do, but I guess glue and paper are a winning combo.
I can get this goddamn glue flowing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. How bad are you now, Facky J? On your mark, get your face, get set, no face, doesn't shoe nights.
Besides this information, there is little or no info about his personal life. That's a good thing for us, as we can skip to 2010, when he had his breakthrough on YouTube with his unconventional and dangerous videos. His content primarily consists of eating or drinking unusual and hazardous substance, often in large quantities, which has garnered both fascination and concern from his viewers. Well, it's something you could see in Jackass. So, is he some type of a Stevie O from Temu? Well, sort of. Well, mukbangs are dangerous, but this is the level 2, I guess, where mukbangs can be dead over time due to eating high amounts of unhealthy food. This is a new level. Chris would eat almost everything his viewers suggest, from consuming entire rolls of toilet paper, eating non-foods such as eating glue sticks, candles and chopsticks. He even tried to eat a shoe. He would also try his luck with liquid things, like for example gulping large quantities of alcohol, but sometimes his videos would be quite simple and he would try to eat spicy food. I don't feel comfortable to show you everything he does, as I don't want to spread this nonsense. I'm quite aware that this makes people laugh and obviously tune in, but morally it feels very wrong. Like, if you need money and I tell you to drink a liter of vodka in one sip for 50 bucks, would you do it? And now who is here to blame? But I don't think we should blame the guy who took the 50 bucks, but rather the one who actually offered it. You are smart and you probably know what I mean by this.
Oh, the burn. It's just a little burn, not a bad burn. Not as bad as the burn. Oh, I got some orange juice and vodka just to help me out. I do a little shot before. Oh, man, that burns. Hold on.
So, it's no wonder that he was criticized by promoting dangerous behavior. Many health experts and concerned viewers have pointed out the potential risk associated with ingesting non-food items. This should be clear as day. But again, I don't think he doesn't care about his health too much. But you know how the internet works. Shock value and his eccentric personality managed to raise quite a dedicated following over the years, despite all these concerns.
I haven't eaten this in a while. Sticks to your teeth like taffy. Thank you.
But his life wasn't without personal problems. If we can ignore his eating disorder, let's call it so, he also struggled with alcoholism and homelessness. His online persona and content had often been closely connected to his struggles, adding a depth to his extreme challenges and the reasons behind them. The problem was that his willingness to engage in dangerous activities for the sake of the views has influenced a niche segment of YouTube content creators. Most of his stunts were often requested by specific people who donated money to his channel. In 2013, he set the Guinness World Record for eating the most lit birthday cake candles in 1 minute and 12 seconds. Like, why is this even a thing, and why is it endorsed and was put in the Guinness book?
𝙄𝙘𝙚𝙗𝙚𝙧𝙗 trying to set a Guinness World Record for swallowing lit birthday candles. He needs to keep those candles down, and right now he's coughing something into his hand.
He also sits at almost 190,000 subscribers currently, and he's still producing videos. As I would find out, he also apparently quit drinking in 2018 due to fear of not dying from alcohol poisoning. His content serves as a stark reminder of the potential dangers of seeking online fame through extreme and bizarre actions. He didn't harm anybody but himself. And what for? Well, for people's entertainment. I don't know if this is sad or not, but it's definitely disturbing if you're willing to sink so low to find attention and fame or just to earn money. I don't blame him so much, but rather the system, I guess. Hard to say, so let's move to the next entry.
Either way, guys, 𝙄𝙘𝙚𝙗𝙚 again. Basically, I'm promoting a lot of things right now. I got back on Twitter X, 2,000 followers in a week. I'm selling products on TikTok. I'm just getting back in the game that I lost being a drunk troll. I've almost lost 50 pounds. That'll happen probably by Monday. I'm fasting, staying healthy. Either way, we got a sort of clean bill of health from the doctor. But what I'm doing is not deleting videos anymore, and I'm just doing family friendly.
Because guess what? One day I'm gonna get by the hottest of age goth chick that's biologically female, and it's gonna be consensual, and she'll be alive.
Well, is King Cobra actually a horror cow or a cobra cow is something I'll let you to decide, but the Kim himself is many things, like a streamer, guitarist, a songwriter, and a Vaughn creator.
It's hard, it's a wonder I'm not swimming in pussy right now, I'm just saying.
King Cobra is like a tornado, but more like a self-destructive tornado, as he is only destroying his life with his obscure and weird decisions.
Oh, you. That only works if you're not white.
But a man who begs for a sex doll from his viewers can be that bad.
Yeah, I'll give the trolls a fucking meme to fuck with.
Well, he also killed Pet Mantis and glue it onto one of his wands. Well, I don't think the things I just said make him look any better. But let's take a look at his early life. King Cobra's obsession with Snake started with an early age when he played an educational computer game called Buzz the Knowledge Bug.
Boy! Those two pigs at the trough are really pigs.
And at that time he also started to watch Steven Irwin's special episode about spitting cobras, and he was completely obsessed with that.
Cracky, that water's warm. This is the Asian spit. Oh.
But his early life wasn't so great, from the fact that his mother refused to breastfeed him, so she was serving him baby formulas which caused him bleeding.
Oh, how lovely. How love.
I think that definitely doesn't sound good at all, and his parents would also divorce when he was still little, and that's perhaps a reason why he developed attention disorder.
Somebody died in her blood.
As a child, he would often be bullied, at one point so much that the bus driver needed to stop the bus to help Cobra out. As the years went by, Cobra wasn't your typical child, and his mother would also quickly realize that. Then she decided to throw him into a church program so he could find his path, which didn't have any success at all.
Got her positioned on my lap here so we can do this thing.
Over the time he started to evolve into the form we know him today. In the middle school he created a cult based on his two favorite colors, black and green.
Now, me and my friend, I started this little gang with my friends. We practiced magic, we hung out, we smoked,
And this was the time he actually adopted his nickname as King Cobra.
King Cobra was in the video. Now I'm going to attempt to...
It first started as a fun joke of a cult which somehow ended up almost being a pseudo-religion, which was combined with extra sprinkle of god and cringe for better or worse, as he made a whole lore about it.
Whoa!
He even wanted to write a book about it, but thanks to God we didn't get this, as his book would probably put in jeopardy all the religious book we got today.
Now, just because a mongoose is able to overpower a cobra in the wild doesn't make that true in the demon world of my religion. As a matter of fact, cobra demons are more powerful than the mongoose demon, okay? Now, how do you join up? Very easy. You swear your alliance to Cobra Tinkerbush's Cobra, you pray to them.
Also, quite funny thing that I found out that he begged his father to buy him GTA San Andreas, and when he did, his father was absolutely terrified and disgusted when he saw what Cobra would do to the hook in the game, so he immediately threw the CD away and forbade him from playing the game, mostly because he had some concerns about what the game could do to his still developing and creative mind.
What's an anorexic's favorite food? Air. Oh my god, Sean.
That's not helping. No, it's not.
His father would also quite often ban him from computer and other electrical stuff to do something more useful in his life. But this all changed when he moved out, but we will touch upon this particular part of his life, because there are still things I wanna touch upon in his early life, like a special girl named Demi. Demi was one of many girls who were into Cobra, well, so much that she would quite frequently kick him in the balls because of it. Cobra, the gentleman he is, he never seek any vendetta because of it. This nuts-making ritual would continue for months. It was so bad that his parents actually begged the girl to stop hitting Cobra's jewelry. Plot twist, Cobra actually thought that Demi was into him and that she didn't know how to express her love besides kicking his avocados. But one day Cobra would go to Demi, pick her up and throw her to the ground, and the era of the nuts making has ended.
And I'm like, well, you're not gonna twist my autistic nipples that hard. I'll see what I can do. Oh, you give me the money and I'll make it happen.
Was this violence justified after months of harassment, or should Cobra just allow the girl to ring his fraternity bells until all of the eternity? His father would also say that Cobra has very poor hygiene and refuses to brush his teeth or even shower.
Get yourself some tactical soap, and you too can smell as sexy as I do.
Where there is a problem, there is a solution, and that's Axe body spray, especially the chocolate one. He would basically overdose on this stuff, and I don't wanna get into how he smelled after 3 days of not showering and then spraying himself with Axe. But enough of his early life. Where is Cobra nowadays? Cobra started a channel named King Cobra 52, where he would share his gothic swag and was showing off his musical skills.
Feel the chill crawling at the back of your neck. It's hard to spell.
From the early stage of the channel, people would figure out that he was kind of special and they would start to pick on him. Today Cobra is known for streaming his everyday life, but also his downfall, as there is no other explanation to it. His streams would consist mostly of him consuming huge amounts of tobacco and alcohol, accompanied by the most important part, and that's oversharing the most dirty parts of his life. As he moved out from his father's apartment, things wouldn't get any better.
Oh, I'm 𝙄𝙘𝙚𝙚𝙗𝙚, the French avatar. Oh, sacré bleu.
In April of 2018, the police showed up at his door due to noise complaints during a stream, because he would often get drunk, puke and start to scream while he was streaming. Things that every neighbor loves to hear in the middle of the night. But don't let Cobra's gothic persona fool you. As you can guess, there are plenty of wild eras of his life documented online. I don't wanna dive into his relationships he had over the years, as this pulls us away a bit from the core of this video, but most of his girls were matches from dating sites, including a crackhead without teeth. But I wanna dive into the time he felt a bit lonely in his life. He has a hyperdrive, you know what I mean, and his needs need to be satisfied. First, he got a flashlight to light up his mood. Somehow he wasn't very fond of and used it once, then threw it away. So we are entering the doll era, where he begged his followers to gather money so he could buy himself a play doll.
With another unboxing video. And I had a fan of mine send me something. Yeah.
But one of his fans actually gifted him a used but well-maintained doll, whatever this means. Cobra was quite happy, in fact so much happy that he broke the poor thing in half.
Of course I was happy with it, and then my tore a huge gash in the... And I was embarrassed and frustrated that I couldn't fix it, and that, well, nice go, you broke your way, of all things.
He was so embarrassed by the story that he told his friends the doll was stolen. And this is just insane. Just imagine somebody breaking into your house and stealing your doll, which landed on Uniland with a title, "Guy's story about having his doll stolen is pure insanity." So Cobra got some public light besides his channel. Well, Cobra would continue to beg his fans for a new doll, which cost just over 2k. He managed to gather the money and get the doll. He would use the doll a few times, but the problem was he used the wrong soap to clean it up, and the doll's skin started to peel off and the doll would slowly start to fall apart. Just like his life. But his life wasn't falling apart because of the use of soap, as this is something he desperately needs, but rather from his unhygienic conditions and heavily alcohol and tobacco abuse.
Stay the fuck out of my hand, you piece of shit! I'll smoke you until you're dead! Fuck you!
But rather from his unhygienic, heavy alcohol and tobacco abuse. Some of the things that started to happen to him is his hair loss, his cognitive functions being quite slow, and he started to slur while he speaks, and sometimes he would just mumble things that nobody could understand.
I only got like one little sip left, and I'm sick of it! I hate being clumsy!
A more concerning thing is that Cobra also faced some backlash for his mistreatment of animals, with some instances caught on video, and the others he admitted to. On September 6, 2021, he found a praying mantis on his curtain, which he decided to keep as his pet and named her Mrs. Green. And like we established, green was one of his favorite colors, so there was a special bond between them. However, on September 11, 2021, he blew smoke on her and tried to feed her with her homemade drinks, which left the poor thing barely able to move. Cobra then took her aside on September 18, 2021 and confirmed that Mrs. Green has died. Cobra then thought the most logical thing to do is to cover her body in hot glue and put it on a stuff which he sold on Etsy. It's nice that Cobra immortalized his pet in such a magical way. So yeah, he was also selling wands online to make a few bucks for a living, and the wands did sell quite well despite being not so good.
They're definitely very smooth, but there's a quality check. See what I'm saying?
Also, he was evicted from his apartment as he would smoke indoors and would use blow torches for his wands, which is definitely a quite dangerous thing.
Warlord Campbell, my apprentice on wand making, and he's learning the finer arts of it, yeah.
He also once admitted that he found a baby bird in a parking lot after falling from his nest, and he ran over it with a bike to put it out his misery. But the biggest backlash he's got was about his bearded dragon lizard called Puff, or called by some Puffington.
I'm more connected with Puff emotionally than any of you miserable sad losers out there.
Puff was very neglected and poorly treated. Cobra gave Puff an excessive amount of pellets, blew weed smoke into his tank, and even managed to lose Puff for a few days in his house.
You are so cute.
So he is cute.
Oh my god.
And he would occasionally just dump his own food into his tank without cleaning up. On August 12, 2023, Puff began twitching. Some would say it's a sign of nutrition deficiency or other medical problems.
I love my puffers. I gave him some fresh water in his dish, and he was just soaking in it, chilling out. I watched him take a huge gulp of water. I just got done spraying him with some water. The water in the mist bottle is literally lukewarm. Oh, Puff, you're good. Puff, you're good. It's okay. It's okay, Puffers.
On November 16, 2023, Cobra revealed on Facebook that Puff had gone missing. According to his sister, Puff ran away after Cobra took him outside. Due to the low temperatures in his region, it can result that this can be quite harmful when not fatal to this reptilian dragon. and many of Cobra's followers presumed that Puff was dead. And I don't know how Mr. Puff, a lizard in cold condition, could outrun Cobra, but well, he did. But that's the life of King Cobra, a roller coaster ride of weird and bad decisions, but also mistreatment of animals. Is he a real horror cow is yet debatable, but again we are only at the second layer. The last update we have, I think, is that he was thrown out his place and he moved back to his father, who banned him once again from using any type of social platforms.
I woke up in the middle of the early morning to fart, and as soon as I farted, I hit myself a little bit. I'm like, oh no, bathroom. And I didn't realize it had happened until I went to go pull up my pants and go back to bed, and I'm like, oh, really? Come on. I'm like, whatever. So I passed out with my shoes on, so here I am trying not to get poop on my fucking self. And it wasn't that much. It was a little teeny tiny bit, but it was enough that you would have felt it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, son.
Anthony Legato's story is quite unusual. His story is connected with a YouTuber we will touch upon. Spoiler alert, it's Chris Chan. I felt like I didn't do him any justice in the lolcows iceberg, so this chart will do him some justice, as he can be now considered as a horror cow. For the sake of this video, if you don't know who Chris Chan is, which I highly doubt, he is a very well-known and documented online personality who became famous for his webcomic 𝙀𝙀𝙀 and his extensive trolling that he endured over the years. Now, Anthony is a man originally from New York, who was the first person, as I could figure it out, to become something known as a ChrisTuber. What's that? Well, a ChrisTuber is a creator who solely focuses on Christian.
I am, of course, Anthony 𝙀𝙚𝙚𝙗𝙚 once again, and I am going to do a commentary on another Christian video.
Does this mean I'm a ice-tuber or a berg-tuber? Because I love to cover icebergs? I don't know. But back to the story. ChrisTubers would often discuss various aspects of Christian's life, like his online activities, but they often are connected with extensive trolling and harassment. Their content could also range from simple documentary-style overviews to commentary videos and analysis of Christian's latest action.
I don't mind gay people myself. The thought of it is just painful. It's like, oh god, my ass. One question. How do they sit down afterwards? But enough of that.
Anthony, or 𝙀𝙚𝙚, was such a YouTuber. 𝙀𝙚𝙚 would be quite extreme of his criticism. He created videos and content that intensely mocked and ridiculed Chris.
Actually, your ass is non-existent. I had the misfortune of seeing your stupid that shower video you did. Yeesh. You, sir, are lacking up
expressing a deep-seated hatred that went beyond your typical trolling. Comparing Chris to some very bad people I don't wanna mention now. He would often go to great lengths to ridicule and belittle Chris Chan. Sometimes it felt very personal. He really went all out on this while creating these videos.
Okay, you fail at life, you fail at drawing, you fail at socializing, and you fail at what is it you're doing, man?
And you know how this goes. We don't support any type of hate on this channel, so don't go out of your way and don't harass any of the people we talk about. Anthony, most famously and arguably most embarrassing moment, was where he was making a video where he watched 𝙀𝙭𝙦 sex tape while making cringe-worthy commentary.
Basically, in a rant that I was working on, I mentioned that I saw the Christian tape. Most people, I believe, are a little bit questioning on whether or not I've actually seen it. So, once again, I'm going to waste another 7 minutes and 40 seconds of my life just to prove it to you people. Plus, I just hope I could find something funny about it. I mean, wait, don't turn around. Yeah. Oh god, your ass, dude, your ass.
And also the time he did a very terrible stand-up routine at a local comedy club.
As you this. I do a lot of...
Also, something I found out but I can't really confirm is that he apparently once was fired from his job at a radio station for watching porn in the studio. But then something quite weird started to happen. Over time, members of the trolling community behind Christian began to notice that 𝙄𝙘𝙚𝙗𝙚 exhibited behaviors similar to those he mocked Chris for. This included lack of self-awareness, engaging in bizarre activities, and showing signs of delusional thinking.
You know what? You can't even spoon right. I can do this better than you. Oh, God.
And over time, he became a lolcow or horrorcow, dare I say it.
What is behind me might be something that will get your mom pissed off. Well, except for mine, who is a liberal. Yep, hentai.
He became what he ridiculed the most, a Chris. Well, a Chris clone to make it even worse. This would lead that 𝙄𝙚𝙚𝙗𝙚𝙗's own eccentric and disturbing behaviors came to light.
You spent 2 months offline letting me enjoy my freedom from commentating on your dumb ass. And this is what happens? Every time I try to commentate on other idiots, he always finds a way to rear his ugly, balding head back online.
And he was increasingly seen as a hypocrite, and his nickname would become a synonymous word for hatred towards Chris, which often would lead to obsessive behavior about him. 𝙄𝙚𝙚𝙗𝙚𝙧 still maintains somewhat of an online presence and has a Twitter account related to his voice acting work, but he rarely, if ever, mentions Chris in these posts at all. His fame peaked with his rants about Chris, but at the end of the day he faded into obscurity. And I don't know how many people will actually remember this guy, but this is the story of an individual who spent a lot of energy to spread hate, but what for? Well, at least he's immortalized on my channel and in this iceberg chart. He's definitely a bizarre troll with quite self-destructive nature.
One fine thing about this, you ought to see a lot of cosplayers, like this gentleman here. Who are you being? Who are you cosplaying as?
Julie! Julie!
I actually have some pretty exciting news to announce to all of you. Maybe not all of you are gonna like it necessarily, but...
Uh-oh, it's taco time. I'm a taco, look at me, watch me dance.
Okay, and what do we know his name at all? It's Chris Hansen.
Onision is one of those people who loves to strike down other people's content, because he simply doesn't want people to talk about him. But this won't stop me from doing just that. The only difference is for this part of the video I am forced to use some random gameplay footage and photos for the sake of not being struck by the almighty Onision. Lame I know, but that's how some people just are. Now, who is Onision and why he doesn't love it when people talk about him? Well, maybe because of the abusive threesome he had with a minor? Perhaps? I am not quite sure. Maybe this is also the reason why his comment section is turned off. But let's take a few steps back and see who Gregory Jackson or Onision really is. Greg is an American YouTuber who we can consider one of the OGs, as he has his channel before 2010. He blew up at the same time as Shane Dawson did. His early life is somewhat of a mystery, as he doesn't love to talk about it. But it's believed he was born or at least lived in Oregon at some point of his upbringings, due to him mentioning he was going to school there. His early life, like the 3 entries before, wasn't the best, which is somewhat of a reoccurring theme through these layers. Greg's parents divorced when he was only 2 years old, and his father was convicted of committing a sexual crime against a minor. This begs the question of how Greg processes this stuff in his head. At the age of 15, Greg was also physically attacked by his father as he wanted to strangle him. Greg retaliated in self-defense by repeatedly kicking him in the chest. All of that reflected that he suffered from depression and suicide thoughts in the high school. These struggles didn't stop there, as they would continue in his adulthood. He recounts one story where he had a he said while he was serving in the Air Force, and he wanted to end it all. He said this was a very dark time of his life. He recovered from depression multiple times, and he started to use his experience to aid others, which isn't good at all, as you will see. Greg is also very close to his mother, who had also appeared in his videos, for example, Ghost Caught on Camera. When we take a look at Greg's career, he was known to be very controversial. His views and thoughts would not often align to other people's belief. In April of 2009, Greg uploaded a video called Murderers Eat. In the video he rants about the population of the world that eats meat, saying he doesn't give a fuck about their opinions and going so far as calling them murderers. This video was eventually deleted, potentially because of the criticism he received, which isn't so surprising after all. He made his channel back in 2006 and created multiple accounts over the years. Greg has also written 2 novels that are a mixture of real events and fictional ones, and his videos are quite all over the place, as sometimes he can be quite cheerful and happy, and in others he seems quite mentally unstable. By his own account, he has said that his change in personality depends on the video he was releasing and based on the beliefs he had about the video. What Greg quickly realized is that his main audience were American girls in the range of 13 and 16 years old. And this is the part where things get a bit dark. Greg has been often criticized by other people because he tries to manipulate his audience by releasing a video he knows they will react to, and that's why he releases videos that are a bit on the darker side, and he is often criticized for his views about abuse and depression, as he's continuously partaking in blaming victims of abuse and also asserted that depression is their fault, which is also opinion to have. Greg at one point made a video called Rise Above Hate, where he told a teenage girl with certain thoughts brought on abuse at the hands of her mother to take matters into her own hand. Greg was once again criticized for this, with some commentators claiming that his statements show that he lacks the knowledge and awareness regarding the and abuse. 2012 also marks a bitter era for Greg, as allegations arose that he had raped or otherwise forced a particular sexual act upon Adrienne while they were two dating in 2011. These allegations arose in the mid-2011. Again, those allegations are always a messy stuff to get into. This was followed by a string of highly controversial videos created by Greg as public statements about Adrienne, and infamously commenting that she had sex with more than 20 people before him, making her a slut and incapable of being raped, which just begs the question in what type of delusional world Greg is living in. This statement led to media headlines, resulting in over thousands of users criticizing Greg and over 50,000 YouTubers petitioning that his partnership with YouTube should be revoked or that he needs to get banned from YouTube. Eventually he made an apology video in 2013. In a video posted to his channel in early December of 2018, Greg talked about that he had some minor involvement with the furry community as a teenager. Although he never identified as a furry, he mentioned feeling very welcome among them. Is this something positive or negative? I want you to decide, but the furry community did have some rough time late due to some people among them. No pun intended. Furries are a topic that will get a standalone iceberg at one point on my channel, but the biggest problem with Greg was his attraction to his younger audience, as it was revealed over the years. Now let's touch upon the most disturbing part of Greg. Besides the dramas and the outbursts he had, meet Sarah, a 11-year-old girl who stumbled upon his channel through recommendations. Sarah was in a bad place at that time in her life. She said that his videos would influence many of her opinions she had at the time. Sarah was also a huge fan of 𝙀𝙭𝙥𝙧, which was Greg's wife at the time, and she would stay very active in the community. She started even interacting with 𝙀𝙭𝙥𝙧 on social media over the next years.
I actually reached out through Twitter, and I would just I would tweet him a couple times, but I really started tweeting his spouse 𝙀𝙭 a lot, and that's kind of who first noticed me.
At that time, 𝙀𝙭 identified as a woman, but has since come out as transgender. Greg would also make Sarah her crush Wednesday when she was only 13 years old. She even joined a group chat, which was a way for Greg to get in touch with his fans. She felt very validated that she received attention from her idols. which helped her during these dark times. She would later state that Greg and Kai definitely saw someone very vulnerable at the time, and they quickly realized that she has some emotional needs that aren't fulfilled at her home. And this was definitely a way to show the poor Sarah the glitz and the glamour of her life and the internet personalities they are. The problem was that these things would take a road very quickly. They would start off with sending each other photos in underwear. Sarah would say that they were like the Three Musketeers, and she would also comment how Greg thought of her to being very cute, which is quite alarming. Things would get quite heated as Kai would post inappropriate pictures of Greg, and Kai would also frequently discuss the side of Greg's. Yeah, Sarah was desperately in love with Kai, and she would do everything to be just one step closer to her, and because of that she even sent explicit images of Kai. Greg and Kai planned to meet up with Sarah, but they wanted to wait, as they would figure out the age of consent in Washington is 16.
And I went and visited them. The trip was planned since I was 15, but I went and visited them September of 2016.
And did they hold off? Did they hold off until you were 16 for a reason? Was this deliberate?
Yeah.
And why was that? So they wouldn't be breaking the law?
Yeah, that basically it was agreed upon by them, and then they told me that they weren't gonna like have me visit or anything.
This spiraled even more down as Sarah was invited to live with them, and they even gained the full custody over her because things weren't so good at home, but her mother didn't know about any of the stuff that happened. The worst part is that after she was adopted, they would frequently check every penny she spent. She would often be pressured to clean the house, and she would take care of their children at the age of 16. Then it was relieved that Sarah, if she wanted to stay in a relationship with them, needed to be included in a threesome relationship with Greg. He would also take the role of the puppet master and tell them what to do.
So they both essentially lured you into a relationship. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah, Greg was like the, how do I put it? He, for the whole relationship part, at least the second time around when I was about to be 18.
Right.
He was like the puppet master. He was being like, "Oh, you guys should do this. Oh, you guys should kiss. You guys should."
So he was. Well, let's go
and
back
suddenly,
to the visit
somehow, Greg would break up with Sarah because she would act up while watching an Aladdin movie, which is just like, what the fuck. But okay. But now let's go to 2019, where Chris Hansen, a very well-known TV personality famous for To Catch a Predator, launched a YouTube channel and began an extensive investigation into Greg, documenting all of the allegations and abuse towards his ex-girlfriends and the grooming of underage girls. Over the several months, Greg would threaten Chris, calling him a stalker and a hater for covering his most controversial activities. After interviewing several of Greg's alleged victims, Chris would do then what he does the best, and that's to directly walk up to Greg's home. This happened on January 18, 2020. So Chris can prove his side of the story. When Chris knocked on Greg's door, Greg would call the police, accusing Chris of online harassment and starting a campaign against him and his family. However, when the police arrived, they found Greg's claims insufficient for harassment, and Chris was not charged.
Camera people, like they're YouTube stalkers.
As you watch this, it's important to remember that all the camera crews, sound guys, and attorney Mike Morris stayed on the street when I went up to knock on James Jackson, Gregory Jackson Onision's door to see if he would talk to me. I've been doing this for some 40 years. I didn't get into YouTube to start journalism, but I did take my brand of journalism to YouTube to expose alleged predators.
Okay, but no weapons seen? I didn't see any weapons. I just saw like 6 guys in my driveway, and one of them is knocking on my door. Okay, 1 second here. And the one that's knocking on your door, is he the main one that you said has been stalking you? Yes, he's a stalker. He's yelling things at me through the door right now.
It's ironic that Onision says I've been stalking him, when in fact he's the one accused of stalking his young female victims on YouTube and on various social media platforms. He also went so far as to take my video from interviews and splice them together with video of him, making it falsely look like I asked him some questions. Absurd.
Okay, and what do we know his name at all?
It's Chris Hansen.
Okay, H-A...
Chris would continue to produce content about Greg, and he even contacted the FBI because of this.
James's demeanor on this 911 call is dramatically different from what we've seen recently on his YouTube videos, where he's variously claimed that he's having some sort of a breakdown, upset that people are approaching him on the street, saying that his condition is somehow a result of a dog having sex with him when he was younger.
Yeah.
Also, a very horrible thing that happened only 2 days after Chris's visit was that Greg's young daughter fell off a second-story window at 20-foot fall. This resulted the poor baby got her skull fractured. This sparked further outrage, and his husband Kay were neglecting parents and were not caring about the well-being of the child. There is a whole documentary about his life released, which dives quite in depth into all of this stuff if you're interested.
Shut up!
I was 17 by the time he said that he loved me. He was 25, and his main concern was we weren't going to be able to have the state I was in.
On February 9, 2023, it was reported that a lawsuit was being filed against Gregory and Kai. Why? Well, because they used his YouTube channel and popularity to groom minors and force them to have sex with them. Sarah would also sue them in 2023, but also YouTube and Google for giving them a platform with full monetizations despite everything that happened. His Patreon would also be deleted over time because he shared some private numbers, but his YouTube is still up. He's still producing videos. At this time of writing, he even made few new videos.
How many victims are out there, do you think? I brought this up before, but I mean, are we talking about a dozen? More than a dozen? I mean, we're talking to at least 3 right now.
Victims? Oh yeah, there has to be at least 10.
His life is quite a disturbing train wreck, which is still not at the end as there are still a lawsuit going on. I don't know what to say else. It's a long and deep rabbit hole, and I also wasted more time on this entry than the other 3 combined, but this is a perfect example of a horror cow, a story of someone who spread misinformation, hate, abuse and manipulate others into horrible stuff. And I just wanted to show you how serious of situation this is, and I hope you can understand this. Sadly, the internet is full of such a people, and you really need to watch out for whom you trust. If you have some interesting stories to share or people that should be on this list, leave a comment and they will be probably included on the next layer. There is also the first part of this chart if you haven't watched it. If you want to dive into something more milder, there is an iceberg chart about lolcows, which is quite more relaxing. If you're still watching, thank you so much. Remember to support the channel by simply liking the video or subscribing to the channel. If you feel extra generous, you can check out my Patreon. That's all from me now. I've been Snorky, and until the next deep dive, stay safe.
One for the whole family.
Let me take you back in time to the early 2000s, which was quite a weird time to be alive with its mech bling, Y2K or surf crush aesthetics. Windows XP was still a thing, and you probably couldn't stop playing your PlayStation 2. Or heck, even Xbox if you're one of those people. It felt like a time that had an optimistic, nature-focused view on the future, but with each year passing it was clear that we are heading to our doom. Or is this me just being pessimistic? A more disturbing thing that would plague the internet world, besides all that pesky and addictive flash games and music songs that ended with .exe, was something much more raw and disturbing. A particular site called Live Leak. It was sort of a cultural phenomenon, and I know many people who talk about this site like it was the most sinister thing you could find on the clear web. I was definitely too young when I visited this site, but thanks to God I never dived in too much, and I didn't have that morbid curiosity to visit such sites, as I thought an addict at the time. I was, and still am, actually a 𝙀𝙭𝙥𝙧𝙦 addict because of my Oblivion addiction. Some other sites were created long before LiveLeak in 2006, like for example Rotten.com, which was created in 1999 for example. If you did know about those sites, well, they would host some of the most disturbing stuff you could find legally, let's say. These sites would host raw footage ranging from war videos, incidents to many other things that can be quite upsetting. It provided a raw and uncensored way into the darker things in life. LiveLeak was controversial, but it played a key role in the world of online video sharing. Now why I am telling you all of this? Well, if you didn't know about Plagued Moth, this was something that needs to be established as we move on. Plagued Moth, or the Gore God, is an individual worthy to be featured here. Some say he is a simple cloud chaser, and I also don't know how else to put it. He managed to gather an audience, and at the end he lost it all. Now he is homeless because of his actions, and it's an insane story that is still going on and a quite rabbit hole to dive in. Plagued Moth is a very controversial YouTuber who reached great heights on YouTube, reaching almost 500,000 subs on YouTube. He managed to get in touch with some of the bigger creators in the weirder spaces of YouTube after harassing the shit out of them to get their attention. Two of them being 𝙀𝙗𝙗 and later Windigoon, and they would even make a collab video.
Plagued Moth, did you make the fake MD Pope 5?
No.
Okay.
But what's his beef? Well, as you can guess, he would review gore videos that were connected to LiveLeak and other sites like this. The people who had morbid curiosity would feel very at home at his channel. I actually stumbled upon this guy a few years ago because, don't ask, because I don't tell. He would do often commentary style videos about the videos he would present to his audience. He's also known for his uncensored way of talking.
I actually have a few that I'm sitting on that are from Tor, and these were given to me by someone who wished to remain anonymous. The two I received were called Amber Alert and Suffer Little Children. And you know, with titles like that, they're obviously going to be just wholesome, family-friendly content. One for the whole family!
As time went on, he would get weirder, at least more weirder than you think, because talking about people being crushed and ripped in half is quite weird on itself, and to do commentary on things like this is completely beyond common sense, or I am overreacting here. But he started to upload in 2018, and just like me, he didn't get almost any views. But this all changed when he talked about a Russian streamer who killed his pregnant girlfriend for $1,000. I bet you didn't see that coming. He saw a huge jump in his views. Because of this, he would also make another video, and he was about to embark on a quite gore path on his channel. Because of this video, his channel would gain quite an exposure, like the video where he commented the Funky Town incident with his flavor of commentary.
Well, the next scene I can just best describe as not fun, because they gouge his eyes out and fillet his face off. Yeah. Hungry?
What the most important thing is that he found a niche, and people seem to love his uncensored way, and it was a win for the people who searched for such type of content. As time passed, Moth would exhibit quite weird behavior while watching those gore type of videos, such as watching the One Girl 99 Stumps. He would cover this incident in a very disturbing way, and many people thought of it to be very disrespectful.
Oh. This is way higher quality, dude. Damn. Goddamn. She's dead, bro. What are you doing? Holy shit. What? Are you done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, what did I say, like 22? It was a little over 20 stops.
This weird behavior would continue as he would create, let's say, questionable merchandise that rubbed the people the wrong way, which was also followed by a TikTok video about the funky towel incident with a bug scatter, which didn't help the situation at all. But this was part of his edgelord swag. The problem was that people started to look at his commentary videos as very disrespectful, as it involved people actually talking. Because of all the backlash, he would also post some videos where he would talk about his personal life, like about how his daughter has diabetes. This isn't something wrong to talk about, but over time it felt more he tried to get sympathy from his viewers just so they can jump on his Patreon. At the time he also talked about how he watched the after school special video, which was later to be revealed as a hoax made by 4chan users just to catch clout chasers like Black Mod.
Subconsciously and embarrassingly, my mind played telephone with itself, and I took a similar memory and ran it with thinking it was, well, this.
Where things would get darker is where he talked about a certain video called Amber's video, which was about crushing infants, which sounds highly disturbing.
I mentioned something, didn't I? I mentioned that there's infant crush videos out there, I bet. There's things like that, toddlers, right? Well, that's what's in there.
This sparked so much backlash in the gore community, and why? Well, if I'm correct, it's apparently fine when adults get killed, but not kids. I don't know, however, a life is a life and they should be equally valid, but that's the rules of the gore community, I guess. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But Mod would then make a follow-up video where he explained why this isn't illegal and would further debate the morality of gore content.
It's legal because it's just child abuse and murder. Sounds disgusting to say. I agree it should be illegal, but it's not. And part of the reason I make these videos is to kind of shine a light on them.
And he would also say that all of these videos are uncensored, featured on his Patreon, where he would make most of his money as YouTube didn't monetize his channel because of the gore videos.
And no, I will not show anything like that uncensored. My Patreon and stuff, we cover uncensored content.
Also, he was then banned from Patreon for showing those videos, so he moved to Discord.
That is, if you're tier 2, you're gonna get that on your uncensored Moth secret stash list. Things we can't host here on Patreon.
Then he went on a rampage because he thought he was targeted by someone. And because his Patreon was targeted, it felt like a direct attack to his family and his daughter. But what I found quite interesting, that he later stated that he wasn't selling any gore material behind his paywall, which was quite untrue.
I don't have uncensored gore anywhere.
He would also say that the people behind Patreon are protecting PDFs, and he would also mention one more time his daughter.
The reality is that the representative is negligent, period, and refused to investigate, so instead covered their tracks by making an excuse that really doesn't make sense. For me and my family, personally, this is a horrible timing. I just put down over $5,000 for my daughter's insulin pump. She is a type 1 diabetic, she's insulin dependent.
Even if this is quite serious matter, I think this could be handled quite differently, but you will see how the story unfolds. Meet Creepy Reading, a rival of Mod who allegedly reported his Patreon page. A huge drama I don't want to get into, as I'm trying to keep this somewhat compact. And there is so much to talk about here. They were even featured on a Turkey Tom video where they both debated all of the things that happened. At one point, even Creepy Reading paid for Mod's Patreon just to see his gore videos. He would then also claim that Mod saw a very famous video, which I definitely don't want to describe, called Daisy's Destruction. Mod claimed that he never saw this video because it would land him behind bars, just to be later revealed he saw some snippets on 4chan apparently. He would then also get into a beef with a creator called Slimeball, and they had a similar beef like Creepy Readings, where Slimeball claimed he possessed a copy of Daisy's Destruction. Again, too much drama to cover here. After all of this, he even made a GoFundMe page to make some money. Some stuff were for his sick daughter, which is quite understandable, but he would also beg for groceries, and he also needed a light bulb for his bearded dragon lizard. Is this buff? I love how Plagued Mod went from bragging online about how much money is he making to basically not be able to afford a light bulb. I don't wish misfortune on anyone, but it feels like karma struck him. Also Creepy Readings commented that this serves him right as he was profiting from the dead. Now we're getting to one of the biggest problems with 𝙀𝙭𝙥𝙚𝙧𝙗, and that is his Discord channel, as one of the moderators at the time was a minor. Now, due to the content on his Discord, you'll see how this is a huge problem. And I love how over the years, 𝙀𝙭𝙥𝙚𝙧𝙗 would cause so much drama calling people PDFs, cockheads, trolls, liars, without any proof. This would continue in such a way that he would abuse the YouTube copyright system just to censor information about him. Do you smell that? Yes, it smells like another copyright abuser. Lyrics, a guy who we already mentioned in the Mama Mix series, he would jump one more time live to talk about 𝙀𝙭𝙥𝙚𝙧𝙗 about the copyright claim he made against various people who attacked him online. He even copyrighted the video in which he agreed to be on with Turkey Tom.
Not understanding the copyright system. You also said a quote to him that falls on my lack of education of how copyright system works. But that's not true. You did know, and this was your explanation you gave to YouTube.
What I'm saying is, or what I was saying rather, to Tom too, is like, again, because like right now I'm being told that I apparently don't know how it works. It's basically just agreeing with it, to move on with it. I did believe I was doing the right thing, but sure. I mean, I do own that content. I did not give consent for that content to be used. So,
you don't have to give consent for content. It's fair use.
What I'm saying is, I did not approve of him using my content in his videos.
Yeah, you don't have to. You react to videos for a living. You should know this better than.
I didn't do it correctly, and it wasn't used correctly, apparently.
Yeah, but that's not a point in your favor. But
I know that. That's me saying I f***ed up there.
Yeah, but you're lying when you explain to other people. That's the point I'm making.
In this video he shows that his knowledge of the copyright system is quite vague.
So that's 39 seconds. Did you see any of your privacy breached?
Other than my image, I believe that was my wife helping me as well with the quote.
What is your image?
What
is your image? What is your image? Your face?
Yep.
You show your face on your public YouTube channel. All the privacy complaints are my fault. So she's saying that she filed all the privacy complaints, but you just told me a different story. You just told me that
you couldn't have filed all of them.
This spiraled down so hard that he even brought his wife, and she admitted that she was behind all the strikes.
For full transparency, because I don't really like the whole lying thing, I was the one who decided to see if the privacy complaints would work, to be honest. And I filed a bunch under mine, and I did file some under his, and he asked him to lie for me.
Should I be expecting a privacy complaint because I'm showing this video right now?
I just don't like the people, and I just was hoping that something would, I don't know, give leeway.
Give leeway? You just don't like the people.
As she didn't like how people would talk about him. And it's completely nuts to think that I'm quite afraid that this video could be taken down because she didn't like this video.
I did send out multiple ones.
But your wife just said that you didn't, and she said she was the one who did it all. So who's telling the truth, you or your wife?
We both send out complaints, I don't understand.
Dude, were you not in the room when your wife just said it? I don't think I'm mishearing.
Actually, I wasn't until I actually went back when I got sent that video. And then I started to be like, oh, well, kind of explains the ducking and why supposedly a clear depiction of a...
You can keep trying to character assassinate, you're just making yourself look worse. But in case you weren't listening, which it sounds like you weren't, your wife said that you were lying in her favor and that she was the one who sent out all the privacy complaints. But it sounds like you're now admitting that it's a different story. Now she was lying too to me.
Because I wouldn't go after Turkey Tom because he's got a bigger or possibly even more, what is it?
So that's how you operate?
He would even later claim that Lyrics is a PDF because why not? And to wrap this all up, as this is still iceberg chart, 𝙀𝙭𝙥𝙚𝙧𝙗, Gore God or whatever he is called is quite an interesting fellow. With an offset moral compass. I am quite aware that there are people who cover morbid stuff, and I am also one of them sometimes. But again, there are times where you need to know how to behave and comment on certain things, and his comments would get more unhinged over the time. Could this be because he became numb from watching all of this stuff? Yeah, but the comments are still too much nevertheless. But for a fact, we know that minors were in his Discord channel. In regards for the fights he caused along his way, it's just too much drama to cover in this video, but his personality for accusing everyone and everything from being a PDF to a troll to a hater is basically lolcow 101. And also we have that one more thing in the background where he sold gore videos on his Patreon and Discord channel. And also to simply blame everyone for taking food from his table and putting his sick daughter in danger as he doesn't have the money to finance her medical stuff. It's first of all very convenient to blame everybody else, but again YouTube is a very high risk job due to its way how trends works and everything else. And it's a thing you should definitely not rely on, and especially if you have a sick daughter. So yeah, Plague Mode went from a edgelord to something that could be considered as a whiny little, let's say, crybaby. I don't know what to say else, and I think he is quite stressed out because of all the things that happened the last year, as he is currently homeless, and I'm quite curious to see if he still will return to YouTube.
Oh my god, bro.
Alright guys, I'm sorry.
Online gambling isn't something that anybody should partake in. Everybody has their own opinion, and that's mine, as there are much better ways to reach financial boredom and lose your sanity.
Don't let the night be over. Don't let the night be over. Don't let the night be over. No! I lost it all!
Bossman Jack, or Austin Peterson, has something that many people on this list didn't have.
I'm a motorboat your tits, lady!
And that's a quite normal and loving family. This just shows how the lolcow gene doesn't have a particular type. If you're destined to become one, you will eventually. As a kid, Austin would love to go fishing, skateboarding and smoking weed. And he was quite rebellious. How? Well, he would go on a rampage with his friends, steal cars and would steal various things they would find in them. He was arrested and convicted because of this and spent 29 days in prison. Austin would then move to his first online addiction, because at the time he started to play RuneScape. RuneScape is a fantasy MMORPG game released in 2001 and it was originally a browser game. This game was one of those games which required a monthly fee to be paid to be able to continue playing. And many stuff on the server was bought in with an in-game currency which could also be bought with real money, so you know where I'm heading. He started his adventure in 2019 and was seen as a player who just loves to gamble in-game. The only problem was that he lost so many times that he started to beg his audience for money to keep playing the game.
Oh, I have an issue. I'm getting help. I'm gonna get help, guys. This ain't gonna keep going on. I'm gonna go get help. Because if I have $600 and I can't even pull out, bro, there's something wrong with me, man.
And he managed to gather some money, but over time he would lose over $6,800 for playing this game, which deserves at least an achievement.
Oh my gosh, bro! Oh my gosh, dude! Oh my god!
Austin would then blame the developers for his loss, but he promised he will pay all of his debts when he eventually wins some cash. As you will quickly figure out, this wouldn't happen. The problem was, much like the exception, he developed one from playing RuneScape, where he actually played the game for 3 days straight without sleeping. Sadly, even if he was quite aware of his gaming addiction, he would not stop to play the game. And he was actually quite obsessed with it, like a switch flipped in his head, he was completely in trance.
Oh my gosh, dude, I feel so sick, man. Oh my gosh, bro. Oh my gosh.
People would start to watch him just to troll him and to watch his crazy rants to make compilation videos. This would spiral down even harder when he started to play real casino games online. First on Twitch, but it was eventually banned and he moved to Kick, as Kick was a bit more friendly to host such games.
And on here, what's one thing I can do so I can get permanently banned on Kick? Just tell me, so I can do it now. I don't want to do this anymore, dude. None of y'all even fuck me, dude. This is so sad. This is so sad, dude.
Austin would finally acquire the name Bossman Jack and started to gamble like a real boss and not some pesky little RuneScape player. As you can figure out, this guy is still living with his parents and the only thing he does is gambling.
No! You can ask my chat. Dad, stop! Man, shut the Yo, shut up, man! This is bullshit.
But there is also a quite interesting pattern you can see in his streams. A pattern where he would beg his audience for money, then he would gamble the money away and then he would rage about it. And this was like a cycle going on. He would even destroy everything in his room as a result of the rage.
I'll clean it all up. Dad! I'll clean it up! I'll clean it up! Can you stop? Dude, my dad's telling me to stop, bro.
But the thrill of winning was so big that he simply could not quit. He has some clarity in his mind that the gambling is bad and destroying his life, but again, he doesn't do anything about it.
I wanna fucking stop. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
The rage moments were so intense that with every stream there were more people tuning in just to see him lose and donate money to see him rage. He would often stream for 10 hours straight. Sometimes he would pause the stream just to go berserk and then he would continue after he calmed down. But the question we need to ask here is, who is more addicted, Austin or his viewers? Some would say that Austin is a simple gambling addict, but his viewers, well, they were addicted to his chaos and love seeing his financial ruin unfolding in front of their eyes.
Oh yeah! Woo! Yeah, buddy! Yeah, buddy! And it's fucking gone, dude. It's fucking gone, dude. It's fucking gone. It's fucking gone.
The problem was that his outbursts would not only result in him destroying things around, but also he would frequently abuse his parents. Like I said, he was still living with his parents and he was milking them for food, money, but also rent, and it felt like he was quite proud of it. This douchebag behavior is just disrespectful to his parents. I mean, they are bringing him dinner into his room and they just beg him not to curse about having any sex with other people he engages online. They are asking for the bare minimum here. He even called his father a sucker, and there are many dads out there who wouldn't take lightly that their 30-year-old son calls them such a name.
Oh my god, dude! Oh my god! I just want another $1,000! I swear to god! I don't want to hear it! Shut the up! Shut the up! You shut up! You're a pussy!
Also, Austin would punch holes into his wall and destroy his door multiple times, which resulted that his room would actually look like a shelter for crackheads. Talking about crackheads, yes, he was addicted to quite few things besides gaming and RuneScape. His viewers started to see evidence that he was on crack, weed, meth, and sometimes even cocaine, I think, due to analyzing his behavior. Also, if you didn't know, he was sponsored by the casino where he played, with a salary of first $8,000 and then even later $10,000 a week. So yeah, he was earning a whopping $500,000 before taxes just to stay in his room and gamble. But the casino knew he would gamble all of their money again back to their casino. So it was quite of an investment, where they would hand money out just to get it back later.
Here we go, guys. I'm done. I'm telling my sponsor I'm done. I'm completely done with all this. I am completely done with all this, guys. You guys don't believe me, man. I'm done. I don't even get support anymore, bro. I'm done, dude.
Apparently he lost over $10 million over the years. It's a completely insane story of a loser who sits at home, does crap. He's gambling his life away and leeching off the generosity of his parents. He isn't a slow burn lolcow like many others, because his lifestyle is freaking extreme, fueled by so much rage and degeneracy. It's quite outstanding actually. How long he will keep this up and how long before his parents kick him out? He's still currently in debt and I believe he will stay this way, but maybe just maybe he will win one day and turn his life around.
Dude, somebody please help me, bro. Dude, somebody please help me, bro. I know one of y'all can help me, bro. I know somebody out there can help me, man. I am in a lot of fucking trouble right now, dude. I'm in trouble, dude. I'm in trouble, man. Oh my gosh, I'm in trouble, man. Oh, I'm in trouble, man.
In the name of Jesus. Thank you, Heavenly Father.
Somebody asked for more female lolcows and we got a spicy one here. Be prepared as we are going to dive into some religious stuff. Yes, a Jew who identifies as 𝙄𝙘𝙚𝙚𝙗𝙚 isn't something you see every day in your feed.
You guys just can't see it because you are not multidimensional like me.
𝙄𝙘𝙚𝙗𝙚 is an Asian American influencer, well, first of its kind actually, at least in modern history. She was also American model, singer and television media personality. And you know how this goes, once you're famous, you're all in one. From a young age, 𝙄𝙚 loved the entertainment industry. Also her nickname, 𝙄𝙚 was completely sarcastic as she has an alcohol allergy.
Like where I come from, like Mars.
When she dropped out from college, she would quickly form a band as music was her passion. But the breakthrough that launched her into the world of glitz and glamour was when she was actually spotted by a Playboy agent and signed a deal. Her face was placed all over various magazines at the time, including car magazines, which heavily reminded me of Underground 2. Riders on the Storm. Yeah, holy heck, sorry. But she was completely a pioneer, and to put it simply, people just love how she openly talked about some intimate stuff. Because of that, she even launched a subscriber-based site where she charged $12.95 per month for her personal content. And this was in 2001. She quickly realized that the internet can make her quite famous.
I'm not shape-shifting today, but I am the creator behind Jesus.
And this was 20 years before OnlyFans. 𝙄𝙚 would then quickly jump on the MySpace wagon, which is just a relic in time now, but it was a way to promote her music and her photos, and just to write with her fans. Was this to gain attention and lure people in to her private site? I don't know, but it seems so. She even managed to get the highest ranking song on MySpace with 31 million streams. The second was Fall Out Boy with 9. If you didn't know, you could put a song on your page which would be played every time somebody visits your site. And she quickly realized that if she puts her song on the channel, it would count as a stream. She was so full of herself that she wanted to be #1 on iTunes, but it was a reality hit in the face as she only managed to sell 13,000 copies, which is still not bad, but definitely a far cry from what she expected.
I'm not here to entertain you, I'm here to entertain me.
But her personal life wasn't the best. On September 6, 2009, 𝙄𝙚 was allegedly strangled and restrained by her boyfriend 𝘾𝙝𝙤𝙚𝙗𝙚, who was later arrested as he tackled her down NFL style and choked her. But somehow 𝙄𝙚 managed to keep it all under control despite this guy being 6'4" and 260 pounds, which just shows you that she was completely possessed by the devil. Oops, spoiler alert. Also, Shane claimed that she was drinking too much that night and just wanted to stop her. Yeah, I said that 𝙄𝙚 had a drinking problem because of the allergy, but some think it was a lie and some think she is just drinking despite the allergy. The biggest problem was that she actually suffered from a personality disorder, and many weird and ominous messages were left throughout her MySpace account.
Run over very quickly to you guys about, how I've been really exposing lately how I'm actually Taylor Swift, where I created her and wrote all of her songs.
But her page was so full of messages that it's quite a hassle to find the info, and probably many people didn't bother. And 𝙄𝙚's life would slowly spiral down as time went on. She started to drink, then would announce a fake pregnancy, then she would spread fake rumors and gossip about other people just to get attention. She even had a TV show which was a complete failure. It was later turned out to be fake. She even converted to be a Jew because it was cool, I guess. Tila knew if she wasn't making drama, she will be forgotten, as her acting and singing career wasn't simply enough. She even threatened to kill her, and then she would again start with a fake pregnancy, and it was a circle that would repeat. But in March of 2012, Tila really attempted to commit suicide and overdose, but didn't succeed and landed in a hospital. Because of ambient, at least many people thought it was ambient, she suffered permanent brain damage. Despite all of this, she managed to recover, but nobody really knew how bad would she get after this. Tila would launch a YouTube channel where she would talk about some more extreme stuff besides the Illuminati, mainly right-wing politics.
I am online, live, because, you know, I am not a slave to the Matrix, so I thought, well, let's make another video for my niggas. So if there's any niggas out there, hit me up because
I'm bored. And she had quite an agenda. She even wanted to start the human depopulation process, saying that the world is full of corruption, greed, and that we simply need to start the cleansing.
Earth 2 to be polluted with like all the Earth 1 degenerates.
She even sympathized with a German guy and made a Photoshop photo in front of a camp with a red banner around her arm and called herself Hitila. As you expect, she would get quite a backlash because of this, because she was a Jew at one point, so I don't know how this gets together, but that's still, I guess. Also, when she finally gave birth to her child, she made a fake mustache for the baby so it looked like you know who. She would constantly talk about this ideology and the German guy, as he wasn't that bad. She would even visit one white group gathering doing the sunbroker salute. I hope this explanation doesn't get me demonetized, but you know what I mean. Tila would spread conspiracy theories, lies, trying to convince people into hateful ideologies, and when she received backlash, she would simply say she was possessed by the devil. Just few moments later, she was speaking of God and how she loves Jesus and wants to spread the word of Jesus.
But right now, so I'm about to go pick up my paycheck in IRL. I'm not the one. That was not me. That was some other girl on MTV. I am the bride of Christ. I am the wife of the Lamb. I am Jesus Christ's wife, bro.
This girl definitely has a problem, and she definitely doesn't deserve a platform anywhere, as there are too many people who spread such nonsense and we don't need one more. But she is still trying to make various accounts over the years which would be quickly deleted because she would identify it as Hitila, Jew, Jesus, microwave are just too much for many people, but that's the story of Tila.
God, look, she wearing my pink shirt and everything, look.
Not thinking that he's actually gonna go and we're gonna go to the convention together. That's all thrown out the window because of what he's telling me. I'm planning to put him in jail. I'm trying to get as much like possible information from him. Okay. I don't understand what's hard to believe about that. I don't understand.
This entry involves many things that can upset people, including animal lovers, so a big warning here. Christian stories still to be covered on this chart, and I gave you a brief explanation on the previous layer about who Chris is. I have introduced you also to the term and person called A-log, which is also a word for a person who has really deep hatred towards Chris.
Hi Chris, it's Bella. Happy 21st. Hope you enjoy yourself. Bye.
Now meet Isabella Janke, a 22-year-old girl who has too much time and money on her hands. Isabella is somewhat of a real-life joker, a person who just wants to watch the world burn. There isn't anything holy to her. Isabella Janke is also known as Kelly Osbourne and a dozen of other nicknames, one of them being famously the Lonely Fortune Dweller. Besides her nicknames, she is also known for her fungus feet, as she isn't the most hygienic person out there, refusing cleaning products, and the most easy way to describe her is that King Cobra meets Cyrex, as I simply don't know many people who enjoy to bathe in a puddle of piss. But this is just the start of the story. To touch upon her early life, her mother was a Harvard graduate and an Air Force pilot, while her ex-father was an ex-Navy SEAL who owned a cybersecurity company. Her parents would divorce, but her father would remarry to a former Secret Service member, which is quite a family tree to have, and I think it's quite obvious that her family is quite wealthy, with her mother even sending her a few hundreds of dollars every day, which is definitely not a good thing to learn your kid that money is just rolling in every day, like magic. It's quite obvious that this girl never needs to work one day in her life, and she also has all the time on her hands to make Chris' life living hell, but not only her life but also to many others. Her story is connected with the most infamous incident that happened in the whole Kris Chen saga, and this was the leaked phone call where Chris admits to have a sexual relationship with his 78-year-old mother, which is a felony in his home state of Virginia. Quite an insane and unhinged thing to do, but Chris is definitely mentally ill and an unstable person, and I don't know what to say more, but Bella would completely take advantage of this. Drum rolls please, as Isabella was in love with Kris Chen and wanted to have sex with him on a Brony convention. Yes, this is one of those love stories. The point the phone call was leaked, it was so mysterious because nobody knew who Bella was and that she was behind this, as she covered her tracks very well and made various accounts and even managed to convince other YouTubers to post about her, so they claimed that she didn't leak those phone calls. She was quite desperate to control the damage, as it was clear as day that this was posted without permission from Chris. But how did Bella even manage to get Chris's trust? Well, it all started that she was doing her animations and managed to get from a business relationship to a more personal one, where she even admitted she stole money from her and she wanted to become the ultimate and last troll of Chris, as she wanted to convince Chris to commit suicide. And the way she would do this is to acquire very personal info, like this very personal phone call, and try to blackmail her into doing this. But this was allegedly leaked to a third party called Fiona, which was an autistic person just like Chris, but she was only framed by Isabella and she wasn't actually the one who leaked this phone call. The internet was set on fire and Bella was kinged as the greatest troll in the Chris saga, but this fame came with a heavy price to pay, and that was her identity, as many people would like to find out more about Bella. This would lead us back to her campus in Texas, where stories started to pop up about how of a degenerate person Bella actually is. She isn't just some internet troll, but rather a very, very evil person, to say at least. On August 7, 2021, Roman, a student from the campus, revealed on his Twitter that she was under examination for allegations of gender-based discrimination and harassment, as she apparently even tried to rape somebody. She also promoted a Discord channel, a chess club so to say, which was allegedly the official group of the campus, and she promoted it all over the place. But it was only later revealed to be a way to harass and dox people, mostly harassing the people who are in the LGBTQ community. This is where things get quite disturbing. It was revealed over time that she killed 8 hamsters, including boiling one to death, just killing them, and she also wanted to rape one of them. Roman even commented how her room even reeked of pigs, and there is an explanation because of that, as she had a cat in there whom she overfed to smell her gases. And I wish I'm making this up, but this brings us to something we mentioned in the beginning, and that's her fetish. It's not only that she has poor hygiene, but she was into feces. Bella would completely refuse to use any type of cleaning products, which even resulted that her fingernails are getting fungus and she would peel them off just to glue them back where they were. And I really hope you are not one of those who eat and watch my videos, as I do apologize. She was caught installing hidden cameras so she can spy on her roommate, as she wanted to get blackmail material. And there was apparently one roommate that she lived with, and she got quite into her, so much that she licked her razor blades just to taste her pubic hair. I mean, like, what the actual fuck? She was recently kicked out from the campus. Is this all real? I mean, it's totally absurd. Most of this stuff is archived online by the guy we already mentioned, Roman, but there are many more infos floating around if you want to dive deeper into this rabbit hole. Also, I want to mention the time when she wanted to put estrogen in a guy's drink to mess up his hormones, which is a quite dangerous thing to do, and I think nobody should mess with your hormones, but I guess Bella doesn't have any limits. Bella is definitely an unhinged person with ill intentions and takes great pleasures in harassing people, but also animals. Even if the Discord messages weren't true, the fact that she wanted to convince Chris to end her life is beyond morbid, despite what Chris has done. Because of all this, she got widespread attention, and I don't feel she will ever have a normal life because of this, if she had one to begin with.